Hey guys, welcome to Crypto Command. Yesterday we did our first live stream and it was a ton of fun, so thought we would try this again today. Give a few minutes for everyone to get in here. Hopefully some people will join momentarily. Be sure to leave a note in the chat box if you're joining. It's great to have an interactive session. Makes this a lot of fun on both ends. And as I'm trying to get everything up and running, would appreciate feedback on. I know the sound is probably not as good as it usually is on my normal videos, but also let me know if there's any lag or anything like that, as had a few issues trying to get everything up and running this morning. But mainly just wanted to first touch on something that we've been talking about for the past couple of days. I'm not going to spend too much time on this today, but it's important to watch where the price of Bitcoin is right now. So currently looking at the price of Bitcoin on the Coinbase chart. This is the daily chart that we're looking at, and you can see the line that we've been watching for quite some time now, the $9,500 level. That's what I've drawn in pink. Saw yesterday that we really started to approach this and actually ended up bouncing off of it. Depending on which chart you were looking at, got really close or actually dipped just below it. But the approximation for this point of support that we've seen is 9,500. So really what's been happening here is that we have, if we zoom out a little bit, back from the peak price of Bitcoin around 20,000, we've seen that Bitcoin during this downtrend has not been able to get above this line of resistance. So this has been the downtrend line, and then in yellow, I've drawn another point of resistance, this historical line of resistance, 11,600. This was really when things started to explode on the way up. But here on the way down, initially this was a point of resistance trying to break through, but now it looks like multiple times this has been a line of support. Let's actually zoom in to, we'll go into the 4-hour chart. You can see just how much things have been kind of hitting this line, staying there. The volume has continued to be higher at this point, but it may be tapering ever so slightly, so we'll continue to see how this goes. Of course, on a Sunday, volume tends to be just a little bit lighter, but it was really interesting as you look in the really short time frames. Of course, the lines are not as perfect here. Usually don't pay much attention to what's going on the short time frames. Let's see if we can get it. There it is. On the 5-minute line, really everything just kind of, there was a bit of a dip right as this approached, right on that, but you can see things have just really been bouncing around right around this $9,500 level. So I think this is the story of the price of Bitcoin and where things are going to continue to go for the next probably week or so as we approach into this triangle where, as I said yesterday, one of two things has to happen here. We either have to break through this downtrend line, or we will go below 9,500. Right now, it looks like things are continuing to set up to test the level of resistance here again. What's been interesting is that the 50-day moving average has tracked right along this line of resistance. So that is continuing to come down and track along, while we have the short term, the 15-day, bouncing back up now that we're holding into this triangle. So I think we'll probably see a little more bouncing around here before we actually have that decision point and we go one direction or the other. So I don't want to spend too much time on that today. The stories pretty much remain the same. Let's go over to CoinMarketCap. We take a look here. We can see that largely not a ton of action on these coins right now since Bitcoin is really moving sideways. But if we look at the things that are changing the most in the past 24 hours, ZClassic is really the one that tops the list here. This is not much of a surprise. The story here, of course, is the hard fork toward Bitcoin private. This is an interesting story. There's certainly the opportunity for a bounce here. Personally, this is not one that I am playing, trying to get involved with. Certainly not trying to give financial advice. It's just that with ZClassic and this hard fork, the price of Bitcoin private could do quite well, but there's a very good chance that ZClassic itself will dump right after this fork happens. This is probably just a lot of people accumulating ZClassic for the hard fork. IOTA and PIVX have also done well today. Just wanted to touch on PIVX. There was an announcement that PIVX Zcoin proof of stake will be added in March. So this is something that's been planned on the PIVX roadmap for some time now. Basically the plan here is that all forms of PIVX will now be proof of stake. So this is really the ZPIV, the zero coin. So this is a privacy form of staking. This is an interesting aspect to PIVX, and now that they implemented the zero coin protocol a few months ago, but now those coins within the wallet, along with the original PIV, will all be stakeable. So this is all in line with the total PIVX roadmap. So let's just take a quick look at that, because 2018 is actually pretty interesting for PIVX. There are a lot of things that are going on. So ZPIV staking, this was planned for Q1 2018. So it's really nice to see a project where things are actually happening according to schedule. And so here we're seeing that ZPIV will optimize privacy and ensuring ZPIV minting. And so we will see that within the next month. They're planning new mobile wallet, new update to their desktop wallet. I'm just going to scroll down here to a couple of things that are particularly interesting in the long-term PIVX roadmap. So if we look to Q2 2018, something we're seeing with a lot of projects that's pretty interesting is the ZPIV Decentralized Exchange, or ZDEX as they're calling it. So this is particularly interesting in that it is being set up as a private decentralized in-wallet exchange. And so being able to have direct entry to PIVX without having these intermediate effects, having to go to the exchange, everything can remain anonymous, is a pretty interesting project. So that's one of the exciting things to watch for here. The other one toward the end of the year that is particularly exciting are these elastic block sizes. So the block size adjusts based on demand to help enable fast transactions. So this is the PIVX design for trying to scale in like we're seeing in a lot of different projects like Lightning for Bitcoin, things that we're seeing like Trinity and Neo. So scaling is definitely an important aspect as we move not just through 2018, but also into 2019. So a lot of things going on the PIVX roadmap. Of course, the short term just being that they are now implementing this proof of stake for ZPIV. All right, so other topic that I wanted to touch on today is new coins that are being listed on Binance. So going back to this idea of, if we're on CoinMarketCap, we see these things that are bouncing. It's really hard to buy into a coin that's already up 17%. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, ZClassic really bouncing here because of the fork that's coming up pretty soon. But maybe there are coins that you don't know as well that you're starting to see positive trends on CoinMarketCap. How can you start to find which coins to pay attention to and potentially be able to catch those before they actually happen? Well, with Binance being one of the largest exchanges right now, one interesting thing to keep tabs on are the new coins that may be added to Binance. So if the link that I'm going to right now is binance.com/vote.html. And here you can see these are the coins where if you have the BNB, you can vote for different coins to be added to Binance. And what historically we've seen is that when a new coin or token gets added to Binance, there tends to be a nice jump in price. And while this is not necessarily a long-term strategy for investing, this is one tactic to potentially see a short-term bounce in price. So here you can see a lot of coins that you may not know as much about, at least some of these. And here at the top of the list, two of these that have particularly jumped out, one being Elastos, another being WePower. There's been a lot of shilling from their communities and trying to get these listed on Binance. Of course, it's good for their projects if these do get listed. Elastos in particular has really jumped out in the last 24 hours, taken the lead and started to dominate as the next coin that will be added onto Binance. So certainly worth knowing about any coin that's going to be added onto Binance. So here I'm just going to touch on that. Going over to Elastos on CoinMarketCap, currently sitting at a price of around $75 USD. The rank is really low. It is rank 1,173. Now, it may just be that there's not enough information here for CoinMarketCap to actually position this correctly. Total market cap unknown here because the circulating supply is not identified. So total supply is pretty reasonable at 33 million. But what's incredible is that there is a really nice volume for a coin that is not in the top 100 even. So this has been traded throughout February, and you can see that this started right around the $45 mark and has already moved up to $75 and peaked above $90. This is a rather crude chart, but we're looking at something around $92. So part of the reason that there's not as much information is that currently Elastos is only traded on Huobi, and so that's the only exchange where you can pick up Elastos right now if you're interested in it. And this will, if this additionally gets added to Binance, it would certainly add some liquidity to the market and could be very nice given that there's already quite a bit of volume on Huobi. So if it is of interest, I may make a dedicated video to Elastos in the future. Right now, just touching on Elastos over on their Twitter page. They call this blockchain-powered internet. And so what do they mean by that? Basically, what the Elastos team is trying to build is a blockchain-based operating system. So it's really a future internet where we can own our own assets. And the idea behind this is that we don't really own our assets when we buy something digitally. Think of something like an ebook. If you buy that and you get it in the Apple store, or if you buy something on Amazon, while you get the ability to access it, you don't really have the full rights to it. For an ebook or for digital music, you can't resell that asset that you have. And so one of the major aspects of Elastos is being able to try to transfer that power so that you have the rights to sell those assets. So that is, in a way, trying to help monetize the internet, give decentralized power to the internet, and so everything, these digital assets can all be exchanged. If we go over to the actual Elastos website on elastos.org, there's more information on the technology, link to the white paper. I always recommend that you read the white paper if you're interested in a project. Lots of good information there. There are more resources. A very active community. They have links to their Facebook, Reddit, Telegram, and Twitter groups. I'm just going to touch on their team. So the team here is very strong, and there's support from a lot of important members of the crypto space. So part of this is that the original technology came from a former software engineer at Microsoft who was trying to get the idea of this no need for computation if online. So this is the founding members of this team have a lot of experience in these areas. What particularly excites me is that Hongfei Da is involved in this, so he's the CEO of Neo, and so it's great to see Neo supporting this and having a lot of people that are involved here that have experience and really validates this project. So they've really rounded this out, having technical managers, a lot of really good advisors here too. So a lot of expertise on the technical side. So I'm interested in this one, and we'll probably be doing a more dedicated look at this coming out in the future. Patrice, welcome to the channel. Thanks for watching. So that's really the exciting news that I'm seeing this morning. Continuing to watch the Bitcoin price. I think this is where we're going to see things moving over the next couple of days. And right now, still just jutting up against this $9,500 level. If you're looking to do something in the short term before we see a decision about whether or not we're going to get out of this resistance or go lower, one thing you can always do on CoinMarketCap, while I've looked at things that are changing the most in USD, you can always switch from USD on CoinMarketCap and flip over to BTC. And when you see changes in BTC, let's look at this on, we'll refresh the total market cap here, and you can see how things are trading relative to Bitcoin. So I'm going to change USD to BTC. There we go. And now you can see things that are moving up. So this is really when you're making the comparison to Satoshi levels relative, instead of just on total USD prices. And this is where you can see things that really stand out, like Litecoin doing pretty well right now, and Nano. After having quite a run, this whole rebranding situation, the speculation that this may be added to Coinbase like we talked about yesterday, it's now dumping off that price a little bit. And so this is where you can see IOTA's really standing out. And you can just go down the list and find things that are standing out. And so it's always good to try to find the news of what's driving these up relative to others. So appreciate a couple of you tuning in. These live streams have been fun. I'm hoping to do more of these in the future. Be sure to hit that bell notification so next time that we start one of these live streams, you'll get alerted that the live stream is about to come on, and you can tune in. Appreciate everyone who's been watching the channel. It's a lot of fun interacting with the community. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give this a like as we try to continue to grow this, and be sure to leave comments on the video so that I know what you guys are interested in seeing. I think I'll wrap up for today with that. Appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, thanks for watching Crypto Command.